The Celtic Druids were members of a priestly and intellectual class in ancient Celtic societies, primarily in what is now known as Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Portugal, Spain, parts of Gaul, modern-day France and Britain, and in some small parts of Greece and Turkey. They played a significant role in the religious, cultural, and social life of the Celts from around the 3rd century BCE to the Roman conquest of these regions and beyond. However, much of what we know about the Druids comes from Roman and later Christian sources, so there is still some mystery surrounding their practices and beliefs. Here are some of the key characteristics and roles of the Celtic Druids included. 1. Religious and spiritual leaders. Druids were the religious leaders and scholars of their societies. They conducted rituals, ceremonies, and sacrifices, and they were responsible for interpreting the natural world and its phenomena in a spiritual context. 2. Education and wisdom. Druids were responsible for preserving and passing down the oral traditions, laws, and knowledge of their cultures. They were the teachers, judges, and advisors of their communities. 3. Rituals and sacrifices. Druids were known to perform various rituals, including sacrifices, often involving animals or plants, to appease or seek favor from the gods. Some of these rituals were performed in sacred groves or stone circles. 4. Astrology and divination. Druids were believed to have had knowledge of the stars and celestial movements, which they used for divination and prophecy. They also had a reputation for interpreting dreams. 5. Naturalistic beliefs. Druids had a deep connection to nature and held natural landmarks such as rivers, mountains, and trees as sacred. They believed in the presence of spirits in these natural elements. 6. Political advisors. Druids often played a political role in Celtic societies, advising kings and chiefs on matters of governance, diplomacy, and war. 7. Oral tradition. Much of Druidic knowledge was passed down orally and was not written down, which contributed to the mystery surrounding their beliefs and practices. 8. Sacred sites. Druids held certain natural sites and man-made structures as sacred places for their rituals and ceremonies. Stone circles such as Stonehenge in England and the Callanish stones in Scotland are examples of such sites. These circles were aligned with astronomical events and likely served for both religious and calendrical purposes. 9. Mistletoe rituals. One of the most famous Druidic rituals involved the use of mistletoe. Mistletoe was considered a sacred plant, and Druids would harvest it with golden sickles during specific phases of the moon. It was believed to have healing properties and the power to ward off evil spirits. Mistletoe also played a role in Druidic rituals and ceremonies, including fertility rites. 10. Symbolism. Druids often used symbols in their rituals and carvings. The Celtic knot, for example, is a well-known symbol associated with Celtic culture and Druidry, representing eternity, interconnectedness, and the cyclical nature of life. It's important to note that the Druids were not a monolithic group, and their roles and practices may have varied among different Celtic tribes and regions. Additionally, the Roman conquest and later Christianization of Celtic lands led to the decline of the Druidic tradition, and much of their knowledge of practices were lost over time. The decline of the Druids was hastened by Roman conquests in Celtic territories, particularly during the 1st century CE. The Romans viewed the Druids with suspicion, as they were seen as both religious and political leaders who could potentially form a rebellion. Roman authorities suppressed Druidic practices, leading to the loss of much of their knowledge and traditions. Despite the suppression and decline of the Druids in antiquity, their legacy has endured through historical accounts, folklore, and a modern revival of interest in Celtic spirituality and Druidry. Many aspects of their beliefs and practices have been incorporated into contemporary pagan and New Age movements, and there are modern Druidic organizations that seek to reconstruct and adapt the ancient traditions for the present day. Much of what we know about the Celtic Druids comes from external sources such as Roman writings, which may have been biased or incomplete. As a result, there is still some debate and mystery surrounding the exact nature of Druidic practices and beliefs. Modern interpretations and reconstructions of Druidry often draw on a combination of historical evidence and contemporary spiritual perspectives. Today, there is a revival of interest in Celtic spirituality and Druidry, with modern individuals identifying as neo-Druids and seeking to reconnect with the ancient Celtic traditions and their reverence for nature and wisdom.
Thank you for watching. See you in our next video with a new topic.